Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. Really do hope that. Welcome back to the studio and to Chelsea news. We are in the trenches, ladies and gentlemen, and it stinks down here. And we've got to play level and points. Bournemouth this weekend. Frank Lampard has spoken to the media. Also, there's articles being published about Chelsea's potential striker situation. So, yeah. Thanks for joining me. There's a lot to talk about, and I'm delighted to tell you that this video is brought to you by OneFootball. Oh, look at this lovely banner in the studio. Chelsea themed. Yes, very happy to be partnering up with OneFootball again. OneFootball is a totally free app on your phone or website, with mobile devices. It's totally free. It gives you everything you need for transfer news, general football news, of which there's a lot with Chelsea at the moment, of course, because managers, transfers. It gives you match stats, lineups, all that kind of stuff, results, everything you need, basically, and it's a really slick app. So click the link in the top of the description. Check it out now. Why not? Takes a second. Okay, then. So, Frank Lampard has spoken to the media prior to this Bournemouth game. He does look annoyed, but at the same time, he kind of is relatively relaxed. He keeps reminding people, look, like this is a really tricky scenario. What I found something that he said was interesting. I mean, he spoke about there's no fresh injuries. He spoke about how the likes of Benoit Badiashile is very much in contention to play again, and he obviously wasn't registered to play against Real Madrid, and he played in the Brighton loss, which was, even though we lost 2-1, we got battered. So I understand maybe it's not a travesty that he's not necessarily playing, but he's obviously looked at him and gone, yeah, this guy's obviously a very good defender. And whether that means he's going to start against Bournemouth, I do not know, but it's good that he's recognised that. And something that I found interesting is he spoke about not just obviously where we are and why it's bad and stuff, but the transition, the summer reboot, as he called it, as he said, and also that he sort of enforced the idea that his role, of course, is to try and get something out of these players in what is seemingly a dead season, but also, his role is feeding information to the owners. He talks about how he's always speaking to the owners, and a question was put to him are you assessing, this horrendous scenario? He didn't say that. I'm saying that, and letting the owners know what's going on with players, what's going on with performances, and every other thing. And he pretty much said yes. He said my role is to obviously coach and do as well as we can, but he says also it's to essentially feed information to the owners as well, which made me think, yeah, I kind of get that, because and yeah, understandably loads of people are going to be annoyed with the results and annoyed with where we are, and I am one of those people as well. But Frank Lampard is two things besides a football coach and pundit and whatever. He is a Chelsea man, dare I say it, an icon, but a guy that knows the club and knows the club when it did well. Now, people could have argued, well, that's why we brought him in, to win, because he knows the club. I think, actually, because they've spoken to him, the owners, I think they're using this time, the end of the season, before this reboot, as he calls it, when probably Pochettino comes in, a load of players go out, and they start again, basically. But Frank Lampard's very intelligent. He's a really, really smart guy. He speaks well, but sometimes he gets a bit chippy in the media, but he is super smart. And clearly, the owners saw an opportunity here were hoping that the results would upturn, but I'm guessing now, but mainly while he's still knocking him out as well, is the fans won't turn on him and the atmosphere won't get toxic against the manager in the stadium, which is hugely important for the optics, which is true. And also they can trust him to really well articulate what is happening on the training pitch, what is happening at Cobham, in the stadium, in the changing rooms, what's working, what's not. They can trust him to feed back that information appropriately, right? And with the lens of being a Chelsea icon and knowing what historically, and maybe that won't be relevant for the future, but what historically made Chelsea great. So we can say, look, so-and-so's behaving like this. We've never seen this before. When we were winning Premier Leagues, we acted like this. Do you know what I mean? Which kind of made the old dome piece tick a little bit. And I thought, yeah, that probably has value. So they can, move things appropriately in preparation for probably Mauricio Pochettino and get the bad eggs out of there or make slight tweaks, etc., etc. So I wanted to talk about that. I'm going to talk about this article from The Independent, from old Miggs Delaney, as they call him, about a striker, because it is a big, big story. Chelsea and a striker. I saw Ben Jacobs did an article about we've scored 31 goals this season, which, by the way, is mental. I think that's all comps as well. Like last season, all comps, we scored like 70 something. But even that's not like mental. Like Man City scored 100 league goals. So like even under Tuchel, we weren't like free scoring. Do you know what I mean? I'll be very interested. Like I think in the Premier League, and when we won the league last, we scored a lot of goals. 17 Premier League table. I'm just gonna under Conte in the first season. So we got 93 points. And we scored 85 goals that season in the 16-17 season. Only we were the league's top scorer. Well, we would have been the league's top scorer if another team didn't score one more goal than us. And that team was Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham. So Poch's Tottenham were the top scorers in that season. So Pochettino's teams always scored goals. And what do we need to do, ladies and gentlemen? Score goals. Oh, by the way, just a quick reminder to those of you who have your thumbs or finger clickers available, please drop a like and subscribe to this channel. Of course, I'm uploading all the ruddy time, and if you do want to subscribe, you are, of course, welcome. Welcome, friend. And hit the bell if you do. Let's read this article. So, as a domino effect going on, Bayern Munich set to start domino effect with a £100 million transfer of Frankfurt's Randall Kolo Muani. I think I'm pronouncing that well. Bayern's move to sign the World Cup finalist will push other major clubs like Manchester United and Chelsea into action in the race for a leading striker. So Bayern Munich, obviously, they haven't replaced Lewandowski. They need a striker. Chelsea just need a striker for 1,000 reasons, and Manchester United do as well. Clearly, Martial's not the one. Clearly, Weghorst is not the one. And Rashford, though he can play down the middle, he likes to occupy that left-hand channel. So 3 big movers and shakers that will presumably spend a lot of P's to secure a striker. We will have no European football, let's just remember that. Get that one in early. So, yeah. Bayern Munich believe they have everything in place for a £100 million move, summer purchase for Eintracht Frankfurt's Kolo Muani. For Bayern Munich, 100 million is a lot to spend, especially for a Frankfurt player. Of course, he did well coming off the bench in the World Cup. I think he's got a bunch of goals in the Bundesliga this season, which could kickstart the entire summer transfer window. The number 9 market is seen as a driving force of the close season, with the German champions, Manchester United, and Chelsea all looking for the same type of player. I mean, for me, it always seems like the case, like it's a big striker, battle. Because everyone always wants a striker, don't they? I mean, goals win games. It does feel like that, The 3 leading strikers seen as buyable and on a higher level than anyone else are Kolo Muani, aforementioned, Harry Kane, which we've spoken about a bunch of times, and above all, Napoli's Victor Osimhen. All 3 clubs have listed the Napoli title winner as a top target. While the club president Aurelio De Laurentiis is open to selling Osimhen in order to strengthen the team as a whole. The team as a whole, that have just walked City out, by the way. That is only at a high price. That is only at the high price of €150 million. all of the interested clubs have so far balked at that figure, which have seen Bayern turn to Kolo Muani. Yeah, because I think Victor Osimhen was interested in going to Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich, because he probably thought, yeah, I could definitely cook over there. And for Bayern Munich, I get it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas maybe the Prem, he's probably seen like all these superstars come to the Prem, most notably Chelsea, and just struggle. He probably doesn't fancy that. And you just win loads of titles with Bayern. It's always a nice option, isn't it? And also like filling the boots of Lewandowski. He knows there's goals there to be scored. But Bayern won't spend 150. They'll seemingly spend 100 though on a guy. But I suppose he's, Kolo Muani is already scoring goals in that league. For whatever's that worth. And also, there is no shock here, right, that De Laurentiis has come out with a figure like that. It's not going to shock anyone. Remember, for years, since 2015 or 16, he was like, yeah, if you want to buy Koulibaly, you got to spend like 80, 90, 100 million. And that was back then when, yes, transfer fees were starting to get a bit silly, but not that silly. And that's why for all these years, for a couple of years especially, when it was the two best centre-backs in the world was Van Dijk and Koulibaly. And yes, Van Dijk slipped off a frigging cliff or whatever, that's true. But at the time, Van Dijk went to Liverpool for 70 million and it looked like it was worth it in the end. Do you know what I mean? So De Laurentiis saw that and was like, yeah, well, I think Koulibaly is the best centre-back in the world. 80, 90 million. Obviously, that's why, even though we got him as a 30-year-old or 31-year-old, buying Koulibaly for like £34 million just didn't feel that bad. Granted, hindsight's 2020, and we all might feel differently about that now. But do you know what I mean? At the time, it was like, you sort of removed everything in your head and thought, yeah, Koulibaly, 34 million. They sold Koulibaly. Of course, their top scorer, Dries Mertens, went to Turkey, I believe, like Galatasaray, and Lorenzo Insigne left. So all their like iconic best players left, and they just walked the league. It's funny how things work out, isn't it? They all their like icons leave, and everyone thinks, oh god, what's going to happen to Napoli? Oh, they'll easily win the title, and they'll have a striker apparently. He's worth 150 million, but a striker that they feel they can price tag of 150 million on. Incredible. So should they secure the French international, this is Bayern and Kolo, that is, as a number of sources connected to the situation believe is increasingly likely, it will cause competitors to move elsewhere with greater urgency. One issue for United is that ongoing takeover process, which means they are unsure of their budget. Ooh, could that help Chelsea? So the series of targets anchored to different valuations. While Osimhen is the main option, the list also includes Internazionale's Lautaro Martinez and, much lower down, Atalanta's Rasmus Højlund. I don't know him. Apologies to all the football hipsters out there. I did know Dusan Zapata, and the other forward, but not this geezer. Chelsea. Oh, God. Chelsea, that's us, will bring back Romelu Lukaku. He's playing well at the moment, by the way, but he's going to be 30 when the season starts. Not that, that's a massive problem with strikers. It's just Lukaku again. That's just the problem. That is the problem here. Although his future is dependent on who becomes the next Blues manager. But the club are still looking for strikers and want to bring in either a premium number 9 or a promising one. Also, I have read on the internet that David Datro Fofana, of course brought in January, could go on loan. And people would think, already he's got on loan, but that's fine. I think that was probably largely the plan, unless he just came into the team and just did mental stuff and scored loads of goals. Dude played for the Norwegian league, and we've got a very promising second striker, hopefully eventually challenging striker in Armando Broja. So Datro Fofana, he could go, even a championship loan would be much higher level than Mulder. But maybe he goes to Ligue 1, he's French speaker, so do you know what I mean? Find him a team out there and then keep an eye on him. And he's still like a sensible purchase because he's strikers will bring money. As we've talked about, strikers are always even though we're talking about the top echelons here, people are always looking for strikers. So if he gets a bit better, Chelsea will make a profit on him regardless. So yeah, and on Armando Broja, I think I referenced that video recently of Ian Wright speaking to Raheem Sterling, who just says, look, this kid is different. Like, he's like ridiculously fast, and when people see him properly, they will know. And of course, Simon Johnson of The Athletic has previously reported that Chelsea think Broja is one of the best young strikers in the world, or so he should be our number 2, and whatever our number 1 is will be one of these guys. And yes, there is still a chance it could be Romelu Lukaku, should Maurizio Pochettino sanction the move, or the idea, I suppose. But of course, Lukaku would have to be convinced. He's an idiot in terms of the interview, and for a guy who's meant to have a diploma in PR or whatever, public, he's just, I mean, I don't know. The thing is with Lukaku, right? He's not going to be a Chelsea legend. He's too old now, and he's done too much nonsense. But if he comes in and scores goals and helps us transition while Armando Broja gets behind the scenes, gets more and more game time, and then comes in and scores goals, or we buy someone else, then it could work. Chelsea fans, if we got a new manager, a start of the season, a strong lineup, if we got like in the reboot, that's going to be the vibe of the video. If we've got like, I don't know, obviously it's Vogue now, but a front three of Mudryk, Madueke, and Lukaku, and we score like 3 goals the first game of the season, and Lukaku is a goal and assist, and then, gets to 10 goals quite quickly and stuff. You'd forgive him quite quickly. And he starts getting his ego built up again and feeling good again. He's playing well at the moment, so it's really, really rough. Obviously, everyone would just be like, oh, I'd love Osimhen and Harry Kane. So would I. But we got to be realistic. I'm not sure how many £150 million strikers out there we're going to be buying when we don't even have Conference League football. I just spat on my monitor. Do you know what I mean? So we don't have the money to pay for them. We don't have the allure to bring them, etc. But let me know what you think, guys. Comment down below. I love reading your comments. Yes, I'll be very interested in the conversation here. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing. And should you choose to do so, hit the sweet bell. See you very soon. Ciao.